It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's Championship Monday. Hello again, everybody. I am Gary Gatto, and welcome to Race First coverage of Round 12 of Season 1, 2022 of the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split, coming to you from the new scan of Watkins Glen International. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth for this very important race from the NHR eSports team and the Lionheart IndyCar Series is Steven Larkamp. Steven, we have now 9 points that separates the top two in the Division I championship. In this scenario, who's the attacker? Or do we both throw caution to the wind and both attack all the same?
Well, in the scenario we've been in, as you said, only 9 points separates Adriano Pinero and the current championship leader, Chris Wilhite. But here tonight in the Top Split broadcast, we only have Pinero here amongst us. So that is going to be an interesting scenario to see here, because Pinero is the attacker, but Wilhite is not here to defend it. But the question here is really going to be a question of the race itself. Will he have the performance? But more than that, will there be the strength of field needed for Pinero to overcome that deficit and leapfrog one of his prior drop weeks? Already, we're actually seeing him on pole position right now with a 128.4, nearly 0.2 of a second up on second place Gavin Sanders. So we're putting in some really strong times here tonight up at the top two. And Pinero is certainly, he's going to have to go on the offensive, it would seem here. He's got the pace to do it, and it's made even more so effective of the fact that Chris Wilhite is in here tonight. He's probably just going to be praying that the SOF isn't high enough at this point. Not a gamble I'd be willing to take, if I'm honest with you.
Well, if for those watching at home not familiar with Gavin Sanders, he is a teammate of mine in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series. He is no slouch, and to be put, normally he is one of the best that I know of, hands down, on a road course, and to be put down even by that thin of a margin to Pinero really says that Pinero is out tonight to make it no joke to capture this championship. We also see Thomas Geisler, who is P3 in the championship, a distant P3, but a solid P3. And any time in a championship that you could finish on any one of the steps, it doesn't matter which one it is. Some people will take the third, some people will do nothing less than just the first. But I think for Thomas, finishing on the third step this season is a pretty good one for him. And while we got it here, while we're talking about the points, let's go ahead and put the points on the screen just really quick here. And this is just a cutout from the let's get rid of the track map there. This is just a cutout from the iRacing page. So you see Wilhite 1783 over Pinero with a 1774, then third place Geisler with a 1546. He's in a battle with Jesper Orman, one of his European counterparts over there at a 1523, and then Pablo Diaz Frances, who was among our championship leaders in last season at a 1456. And you see the rest of the top 10: Marquez, Van de Sant, Miranda, Mercer, and Fraporti making up your top 10 for this final race of this season.
One thing we're definitely noticing here pretty substantially, the fact that there's not too many of what we like to call the usual suspects, as it were, in this field tonight. Sure, Watkins Glen is certainly one of the most popular road courses out there, but I'm kind of surprised that more of the regular drivers aren't doing it. But we are definitely seeing a lot of road course ringers tonight, so in terms of performance, this field is looking very exciting.
Yeah, they get a good number of drop weeks here in this particular series. And a lot of people, this is primarily an oval series. A lot of people are just going to possibly, if they're not a great oval or road course driver like myself, or just find that the road courses are a bit more challenging than they have time to put in for, they'll go ahead and use this as a drop week. And of course will be this and the other road course race that we had earlier in the season, which I believe was Road America. These are two pretty traditional IndyCar road courses, though. Even though the IndyCar Series did not race at Watkins Glen very long under its current configuration, this is really a peas and carrots setup, so to speak, for IndyCars. They really do belong here, but well, the ongoing promotion battles really prevent IndyCar from returning, but this is really a track almost purposely built for them, much along the same lines as like Pocono is purposely built for IndyCar for an oval. This is really kind of purposely built for IndyCar for road course. Tight corners, some of it is technical, but a lot of fast and free-flowing areas that really show off the speed of these cars.
Of course, Watkins Glen was you're rather accurate along those lines, but of course this track was built for open wheelers. It was built for Formula One specifically back in the 1960s, and since then, and with the addition of the boot as well, it's not only turned into a classically and one of those classic road courses. It's incredibly fast, but also demanding on the drivers and facilitates really good racing. There's no wonder this place has become a classic over the decades, and it's become a favorite of pretty much every sim racer who has ever given it a try in the virtual world. And that's why you see so many really exciting races here at Watkins Glen in iRacing. And I think we're set for another one of them tonight as we are gridding up.
That's right. We got the long lap, which will actually impact fuel consumption. We'll talk about that here later. We figure these guys are going to separate this race in two. 29 laps is what the scheduled distance is for tonight. The IndyCar track record at Watkins Glen, Scott Dixon with a 122.4171 set in 2017 in the yield DW12. So getting ready to go racing. But before we do that, if you enjoy race first coverage of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Split and you enjoy or you respect, the weekly stream, make sure you support us by smashing the like button below and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next race. And with that said, let's get into it here at the Glen with tonight's starting lineup. Steven Larkamp.
On the pole, one of the championship contenders, Adriano Pinero, with a 128.323. A great time out of him. Only a 10.5 behind is the number 4 of Gavin Sanders. Those two looking very strong up front indeed, because there is an 0.8 of a second gap back to Thomas Geisler, our old friend of the show, who starts P3 in the number 7, alongside the 14 of Rafael Eckert. He's been fast on the ovals, and he certainly seems to have pace on the road courses. Let's see if he can put that to good effect today. Actually, the first of our runners, and actually, one note I'll make here, Geisler and Eckert starting on the soft compound tires, Pinero and Sanders on the hards. Row number 3, Makoto Yamasaki in the number 5 starts 5th, alongside our old friend, the number 9 of Dakota DeMay, who alongside Geisler are trying to make up ground in the championship themselves. Brian Molitor in the number 3 starts 7th, alongside the 13 of Robert Krug. Row 5 will be Brody Storch's number 12. Rounding out the top 10 will be the 19 of Sabin Bybent. Row number 6, Mason Young in the number 17, alongside the number 2 of Chris Robinson. Row number 7, Edu Villa's number 10, alongside the 18 of former Lionheart IndyCar Series driver Brian Greenlee, an old friend of mine, in fact. Christopher Hamlink's number 8 starts 15th, alongside the number 20 of Dylan Hook. The 22 of Aaron Allen starts 17th, alongside the 6 of Alan Piercy. Rounding out the top 20 will be Jason Selby's number 15, starting P19, alongside Dale Weisser's number 11. Alex McIntosh in the 16 starts 21st, alongside the 21 of Jeff Bless. And shotgun on the field, the number 23 of Caden Drake. As the field heading down the back straightaway towards the bus stop chicane, one of the sites we're expecting a lot of action, perhaps a little bit of drama here and then, especially since you're gonna have a really great passing opportunity here. And one thing I'll definitely have note, of course, unlike on the ovals, we have different sets of tires, different compounds of tires, and you have to qualify on the tire that you're running. So Pinero and Sanders are starting on blacks. That's the harder compound tire. It's slower than the reds, but these guys have been able to put them to good effect. And what this means is they're going to be able to make those tires last longer and keep the pace going for even longer. So they are going to be in a good position strategy-wise starting this race.
And don't forget to push to pass.
This is true. We got 10 charges of push to pass for this race. It's not quite the same as in the real-life IndyCar Series, where you have a time, have an amount of time of how much boost you can run. You push the button, and it just goes until you reach the end of the straightaway. Either you lift up the throttle or push down on the brake. but you still have those chances. You're going to have to use them sparingly, use them wisely to make moves. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to do so. Let's see who uses them the best.
Here they come down to the heel. This is one of the new scanned areas that has kind of improved. It's kind of opened up down there. A lot more runoff area for these cars before. If you went off into the heel, you were instantly into the grass.
Very true. And now you have that little cushion there, and that doesn't count as an off track. But interestingly enough, turn 1, where you were able to go all the way out towards the town of Watkins Glen itself for a while, you can't do that anymore. That's an off track now, and if you go even further out, you get a slowdown penalty. These guys have got to be wary of that tonight, but we are getting ready. Pace car coming through turns 10 and 11, about to sell us a championship.
29 laps to go. Pace car getting ready to pull off. It is now under the command of the pole sitter. Green flag, and Pinero gets a heck of a jump, and we are going to pile into turn 1. Easy now, fellas.
Pinero with a great start. Sanders looking to the inside.
We get a little caught. We get a little
the outside by Thomas Geisler. He holds on to that spot, but I believe that was an off track for him. Geisler is going to try and get the run on the back straightaway here. Sanders left in the dust right now of Pinero. He's going to be scrambling to keep himself ahead of that number 7 machine who's on the softer tires. He's going to be faster in these opening laps. We got him, but making our way through there, he's not quite been able to make it through. Let's see if we can everybody looking to get themselves into order. Very clean start so far at Watkins Glen, but Pinero opening up the gap once more. Sanders staying with him though, but he's got to have a lot of work to do if he's going to be able to keep with him this race.
Yeah, Pinero flying over those curbs coming into the bus stop. It seems, though, with this scan, you could take more of those curbs and first not get a penalty, and second not be as aero disruptive when the underbody of the car comes in contact with those.
Perhaps so, but while it may not disrupt the aero all that much, it certainly disrupts the mechanical grip I've been able to find. You hit that the wrong way, and the suspension is going to be jolted quite hard as Pinero comes across the line in the end of lap 1 of 29 here, and has opened up a 1-second lead over Gavin Sanders. Geisler staying in his wheel tracks there, but Geisler himself has opened up 1.2 seconds back to Rafael Eckert, and that battle back here for 4th position looks like it's going to be interesting here for this one.
Take a look back at the battle there for 4th.
I see Dakota DeMay looking to make a move on Yamasaki. He looks to the inside, coming up towards the bus stop chicane, and he does get the run there. I think Yamasaki backed out there a little bit, so move up 1 spot to the top 5 for Dakota DeMay.
Well, again, early, and I was actually credited for one of my lines that Hinch supposedly robbed during the St. Petersburg race. I always like to say discretion is the better part of valor, and he said that at the opening lap there, and someone's like, hey, that's one of Gary's lines, and I'm like, I never really thought of trademarking it. I just thought it was a good line, but maybe right there Makoto probably thought that discretion was a better part of valor on lap 2 to kind of let Dakota on by, especially through when you get into that bus stop, when it gets a very single file through that area. You can go side by side through there, not if you value your health too much, or at least the health of your car. You want to do that too often, but you can go too wide through there. But the best way to go through that, and the most effective way to go through the bus stop, especially in battling someone, is a single file, and probably was a better thought on his point there. But here we go, starting lap 3 of 29. Never too early to start thinking about when the pit stops are going to be made. I think that a lot of folks are just going to split this race in 2, probably a 15-14 or a 14-15. All we know is that we heard either way, the tires do not do well. Whether you got black tires or you got the red sidewall tires, the tires really fall off here big time.
Certainly seems to be the case. Everybody seems to have had complaints about tire wear. The red tire runners especially, I'm going to be particularly wary of the likes of Geisler and Eckert. They're running the softer compound tire. So those guys are going to be fast for the first few laps, but pretty quickly they're going to be feeling the pain even more so than the black runners. But the black tire guys are going to be having battles of their own. As I'm looking, speaking of battles here, battle on for 7th place. Saban Bybent around the outside of Brian Molitor in the toe of the boot. Very well done by the number 19 machine.
Coming up the hill into coming up the hill to turn number this is like at the top of the hill. The old scan at the top of the hill at the bottom of the whole boot complex. A lot of cars, it was kind of coming uphill, a little off camber. A lot of cars got loose and spun out there. Not seeing this problem with this new scan, and that's one of the more improved areas of the racetrack. Used to be at the top of the hill, especially at the worn tires, light tanks. You kind of had to feather it through that portion of the course, especially late in the race.
Bybent actually got really squirrely there coming off of turn 1, and Molitor is now all over his rear wing coming up the back straightaway at the start of lap number 4 here. Will this be a battle going into the bus stop chicane? Molitor looks to the inside once again. Will they take it too wide here? They're going to try to.
And great car control.
Once more. He has to give that one up. He saves it, though. Very well done to him. But that's giving Robert Krug a chance to look to the inside of the carousel. Oh, that was some close quarter stuff there. And Brody Storch looking to get in on this fight, too. This one's looking to be a lot of fun.
Now, Molitor in that older Ray Hall Letterman livery there that he ran in the 90s at one point, and of course that was handed down to a couple other drivers. And then right behind him, the more modern McLaren Paddle Award livery right behind him.
The past meets the present in that case, and I love both of them personally speaking. But this battling right here, it's given the likes of Makoto Yamasaki and Dakota DeMeg a great chance to pull out a gap over them and split the top 6 off from the rest of this pack. So those guys are going to be fuming a little bit, especially I'd imagine the leader right now. He's lost time considerably in that battle with Bybent in the possibility of getting a top 5 here. But I'm sure he likes the fact that he's back up in the position he started, and he had a rough start there. And, as he runs way wide there in turn 1, that's going to be an off track for him. No slowdown penalty. He didn't quite go far enough off the track to warrant it. But Molitor is got to be driving the wheels off that car now and hoping that the red tire runners suffer issues to be able to climb up towards the top 5.
Take a look back up front. There is your leader, Adriano Pinero, leading Gavin Sanders by a solid 2 seconds. Already 5 laps into this race.
Fantastic start for Pinero. And of course, I've raced against Sanders quite a few times in league racing. The guy is incredible on road courses. He's certainly no slouch. He put in a time only a 10th off of what Pinero was able to do. But Pinero seems to have gotten the gist of running those qualifying laps lap after lap after lap. He's got it down quite well at this point. Nearly a 2-second lead. I gotta say, Pinero is certainly got a fantastic driver underneath him. We've seen his road course prowess last time we were on a road course at Road America, where he started towards the back, but he just drove the wheels off the car, came up through the field, and finished off with a top 5. And he did a fantastic job there. He's certainly doing a fantastic job right now. Just needs to keep it steady and keep that pace going. And he's looking pretty good. Well,
we don't know him as a road course racer. We do see him on a weekly basis here on the ovals. Again, this series is primarily ovals, but this is he's proven he's got the skill set to run the ovals. Obviously, here had the skill set from coming from behind deep in the field at Road America, and then of course he a couple weeks ago.
Battle on for Dakota DeMeg and Rafael Eckert for 4th. Dakota almost forced into the grass on the back straightaway there, trying to look around Eckert. This battle's certainly not going anywhere because, and looking here, Eckert and Geisler, this is the issue we're talking about with the soft tires. These guys are starting to struggle quite a bit.
Oh, Eckert left the inside open. Yeah, and Dakota about stuck the nose in there. Almost got it chopped off in the process. Yeah, I was getting ready to say for Pinero, a couple weeks ago, won the the Elite IndyCar Series, which is a fixed open, which is a open IndyCar league. Open setup IndyCar league that runs, I believe, on Sundays. He won their race at Road America. So Typically, when you're running against others in an open series, that's some pretty serious stuff there. And for him to win that against that level of competition says a whole bunch about his ability. And that's probably no coincidence that he's out in front leading this particular race. But we're watching this battle right here between Eckert, DeMade, Yamasaki, Molitor, Brybent, Storch. This whole from about fourth on back is a pretty good lineup of cars.
And I'm looking at that battle right now. Looks like one of the guys getting a great run right now.
I pushed the pass.
Makoto Yamasaki right now in that number 5, getting the run down the straightaway on the push to pass right now. Dakota is actually, I believe he countered with push to pass. So Yamasaki not quite able to make the run there. But Geisler and Eckert right now, they are certainly holding up these guys for sure right now. DeMade, Yamasaki, and Molitor are definitely have the faster cars underneath them right now, working lap number 7. And that just goes to show just how quickly these red tires are going to fall off. They're fast for qualifying paces and they're fast for a few laps. But when those few laps go away, it's going to be agony for these guys having to fight these tires until their pit stop.
Yeah, if you watched the real IndyCar race on Sunday from St. Pete, how quickly those guys wanted to get off those red sidewall tires and onto a normal set of the primes. And that seems to be carrying over here. Here is Makoto looking on the underside of Dakota. Was not able to quite get the nose there. Dakota slams the door. Now we're back single file again, coming back to the start-finish line.
Dakota with a bit of a lockup there going through turn number 9. He wants to get by Eckert very quickly by now. He doesn't want to give up a spot, of course, to Yamasaki and Molitor behind them. And meanwhile, behind them, speaking of those two, Molitor looking to the inside of Yamasaki through turn number 1. Not quite able to make the run there, but he'll certainly try to make that run down the straightaway. And Sabin Brybent behind them. He may be running reds, but he's staying with these guys. He's looking to make something happen here. And 3 wide, actually, almost for third place there. DeMade gets by Geisler, and I believe, Eckert actually lost it for a second. He went through the grass. I think he's got to slow down here, and that will, yes, he does. He's yielding that position now to Dakota DeMade, and now gave 2 for 1 right there.
Yeah, it might be 2 for 1. Yeah, normally when you let one by, the other one tries to sneak by with them. And we will get on. Actually, let's ride along here on Thomas Geisler as he's trying to run this battle down here.
Towards the heel of the boot. Trying to take it easy on brakes. He doesn't want to lock it up and worsen the wear on those tires.
Eckert's back end is dancing all over the place, and you start to see Dakota starting to drive away.
Eckert getting really squeamish there. Those rear tires are screaming at him. You can just see it
right there on the in-car camera. He's just overcorrecting. Well, I don't want to say overcorrecting, but just moving. Oh, there he goes. Taps the wall a little bit. Now moving to the inside, trying to protect the inside line. Here comes Thomas Geisler on the outside. Comes back into the inside. Eckert comes on, goes to the defensive down the front straight. Comes back out wide to get the turn in. You want a wide arc into that. You want a wide arc into that turn.
You'd have to admit, Dakota DeMade is loving what he's seeing behind all of this. This is giving him the perfect chance to pull away as Yamasaki gets around Geisler, and Molitor is going to go around him as well, around the outside there. Very nicely done. Geisler gets in the back of him. He's around, and he takes Brybent with him. Molitor and Brybent both out of this race.
Let's go back and take a look at that one just real quick.
So let's see.
That was a very, very, very slightest of all slight taps that happened. You were riding along with. And Brybent was just on the outside, no place to go.
Brybent was an innocent victim of that one, and Molitor just got a tiny little tap. Geisler tried to check up, but unfortunately it's taken both of them out of the running there. And actually looking at the battle right here, Yamasaki and Eckert made contact there through turn number 10. And Eckert's still really, really squeamish.
Yeah,
he's coming on the pit road now.
He's like...
He's in the wall. He's wrecked it on pit road. Rafael Eckert has wrecked it on pit road. And that's going to be game over for him. That's busted suspension. I see it right there.
Let's watch that again.
So that looked to me like a
late call, maybe.
Like very late call. I believe that looked to me like a very last-second decision. I think he couldn't stand those tires anymore. He tried to come down to pit and just couldn't really get it down promptly.
Thomas Geisler on pit road. He had an issue. Let's go back and see what happened to him. Looks like he got loose going through the S's.
No, he got hit. He got hit by the 10, it looks like.
Who is the 10? Edu Vila.
That's Edu Villa back there.
Yeah, Edu Vila is the push-to-pass champion of the former TI or IndyCar Series. He always, every practice, always had the most push-to-passes used, but that was he's not known for punting people, and that was a punt, and I'm not sure why. Edu made his way up to P5, so I don't know if Thomas was having some issue. Let's go back a little bit further in time. We got time to take a look at this and see what happened. But
of course, Geisler was fighting those red tires all the way through.
So there goes Eckert to the inside. So Eckert now is just wrecked. We're going into turn 1. He's under braking. Vila, that's what happened. Is he looks like he might have punted Brody Storch there inadvertently, so not a great day for Thomas with contact. Brody looks like he might have braked a little bit earlier than normal, and that had that's what happened. That Thomas got contact, it held him up. That gets Edu next to him, and Edu comes in contact with him, and that now puts we got 2 cars, and I think Storch, to insult to injury, ends up hitting Geisler again through the S's as Geisler's slowing down.
Yeah, Geisler just speared back across the track. I don't think he had much control in the matter. I know Geisler is a better driver to let that happen without a fight. But
that's going to impact third place in the.
Unfortunately, poor Brody was just a victim of circumstance.
Yeah, that could impact third place in the championship. We'll see. Thomas Geisler is sitting at P3 in the championship right now, looking right up front. 2.7 second lead Pinero has over Sanders, and a 17-second lead over Dakota DeMid. So really, we're looking at kind of a 2-man battle here for the time being.
That really just goes to show how much all the fun and games behind them has cost them time-wise of the race leader. And while the qualifying times for these guys may not have been...
Pinero was really clipping the corners there that time around.
Yeah, he's going hard up over the curves. You can certainly do that, but it's a bone-jarring experience for certain there. If you can get it right, it's going to pay dividends. But if you get it wrong, it could be your downfall. Pinero's certainly got to be wary of that. Hopefully, for his sake, he doesn't he doesn't get it wrong once. Because if you get it wrong once there, I've seen before, both in IndyCar competition and in stuff like USF 2000s that I've raced here at Watkins Glen a few weeks ago, it's very easy to end your day by a millimeter's error there in the bus stop. But looking at the gaps behind all of them, all this is... I think Sanders actually behind him. I think he brushed the wall a little bit in the final corner. Managed to gather it up, of course. He's still going strong. 3-second gap now back to Pinero. Pinero is just putting in amazing lap time so far. And Sanders last time with a 28.8. Pinero with a 28.6. So he is keeping that pace very, very strong. And looks like seems to have mastered the tire wear struggle that a lot of these guys are dealing with.
Yep, he's probably looking at a pit stop here in the next lap or 2, or maybe 3. We'll see how far he decides he wants to go. Just making that last stint on those whatever set of tires he's going to go with. They're not required here in the fixed IndyCar Series on road courses to switch compounds. They are required to start on what they qualified on, though. So we will see here if he decides he's going to switch or just stay on the black sidewall tires. I'm going to guess that is what he's going to do.
Certainly be it. If I was in his position, I would certainly want to run the black tires as long as I possibly can. Especially with a situation like this, the track temp is fairly high right now. It's 108 degrees Fahrenheit on the asphalt right now. And with the tire wear issues that a lot of these guys are dealing with, you still feel it on the blacks, but running black hard tires that are struggling a little bit is an infinitely better situation than running soft red tires that'll just feel even worse towards the end of the race, and it'll drag down your average lap time.
Sanders is cutting into it a little bit. He's got it under 2 seconds there for a bit.
And you are right. His last lap was a 29.9 actually. So Pinero with a very slow lap that last time.
Yeah, last time.
Sure what happened.
Yeah, last time by was a 29.9 for Pinero, a 28.9 for Sanders.
Not too certain what happened there. I didn't see any major moments. I was keeping an eye on him in particular, as he actually runs really close to the grass there, but so does Pinero. So does Sanders, I should say, coming through the entry to the boot there, and Pinero is certainly noticing that number 4 machine right now, and it looks like he is getting a little bit on the a little bit squeamish perhaps.
Now, one thing I can say that Dakota and also Gavin here have a little bit of an advantage. It was not too long ago that the Reddit IndyCar League was racing here, and both those guys, well, Gavin did an all right job. Unfortunately, Dakota was a victim of someone else's incident, but Gavin actually either won that race or was on the podium, and so they managed to pick up some pretty valuable experience either in practice or quals for the most part on how to get through the later stages of these tires as they go off.
Greatest teacher is always seat time when it comes to auto racing, and giving yourself a chance to race in a league before doing this, it'll certainly give you an edge going into tonight, as I did, as well as Gavin Sanders in the AOWRS.
Oh, the damaged car off behind him there. I'm not sure who that was. I'm trying to find out who might that have been. There's Dylan. Dylan Hook.
Third place, man.
Sorry, Dylan Hook.
Dylan Hook in trouble.
Yeah, Dylan Hook in trouble. He was in the 15th spot. That might have been who we saw there. New third place man. That's right. Let's get back on to and that is Yamasaki.
Yamasaki gets around Dakota DeMay there. I think DeMay just let him go there. Realized he had a slightly faster car underneath him. Didn't quite want to fight the issue. Want to preserve his tires and want to give himself some breathing space. He's going to be staying right in his wheel tracks. I'm quite certain of that. Looking at lap times, they were fairly even the last time by here, so Yamasaki taking advantage of a great opportunity there behind Dakota DeMay. But DeMay now still going to be running in the draft a little bit, and we're getting to the point where we're having to think about pit stops. Pinero and Sanders have stayed out for another lap. Let's see what everyone else does here. Yamasaki staying out. Dakota DeMay is in.
Yeah, he's had enough of these tires. Going to hit pit road, try to get a new set on, and try to get the over on Yamasaki as he continues to turn laps. Also hitting pit road behind him, I believe that is Brian Greenlee. Is that Green? Nope, that is Chris Robinson, also on pit road.
You have Chris Robinson in the number 2 machine.
Christopher Hamelink also on pit road here. These are all in the top 10.
These guys opting to split their strategy to try and even out the tire wear here. Whereas Pinero and Sanders, it looks like they're trying to stretch out as long as they can on their tires there. They don't really have too much pressure behind these two. This is just going to be a battle between these two guys unless someone makes a grievous error. But looking at everything right now, Dakota DeMay is off of pit road. He's trying to build up some tire temp right now as he's making his way
Pinero
into
on
the bus
pit road.
stop
Pinero and Sanders on pit road. This is interesting. Sanders made up a ton of space by hitting that line at the last possible second. So Gavin is a little bit closer as we are now on pit road with the 2 leaders.
Certainly make a ton of time on pit entry there. You gotta be very careful. But Sanders, of course, is one of those guys I would count on to do such a thing as they hit their stalls.
Yamasaki on pit road as well. So now we're going to see where Dakota the Maid pops out here. Dakota coming down to the heel of the boot area. Now going uphill. Whoa, where he come out here?
I think that was a slow stop there for Sanders, actually. He lost time, actually,
he
to
did.
Pinero. Yamasaki now on pit road, and Eduvia. Brian Greenlee and Dale Weiss are in as well.
Here comes Dakota, and he is going to get that position.
Saki off of pit road. And here comes Dakota DeMay. He will get back by him. Well done to Dakota. A fast out lap there. And looking at tires once more, they have stuck with the hard compound tire as we expected here. These guys are not going to want to run reds. They don't want the fall off at the end there. That'll cost them even more time.
Well, that is it. Unless these guys have an issue on the course, that is their last pit stops for this particular season of the official iRacing Fixed IndyCar Series. We will see you in about 2 weeks with some updating, not updating programming here. Sorry, so some upcoming programming. We'll see you in about 2 weeks as Stephen and I will bring you week 1 of season 2, 2022 at Charlotte. That's in about 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks from tonight. Also keep in mind we will have the time change between now and then, so that'll be at 8:15 Eastern time instead of 7:15. It has been for a little bit here. And also later this week, and if you're watching via the stream and you see in the chat, the Formula Indy Series will be having their 300K at Indianapolis Motor Speedway coming up here on Wednesday. You want to check that out. Championship implications with a lot of the championship leaders with EOL penalties as a result out of the last race are going to be starting at the end of the field in a series that, well, is not known for having oval racers. So that's going to be an interesting dilemma. We encourage everybody to check us out on Wednesday night when we bring you the Formula Indy Series and their Indy 250, or actually 300K from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
It'll certainly be exciting for sure here. And looking at that lead battle here, Sanders definitely had a slower pit stop there from a 1.9 second gap back to Pinero. It's now to 3 seconds. And what's worse still, he's being held up by a lap car right now.
Yeah, he is. Trying to find out who that is. That is Mason Young.
Mason Young down in 16th position.
Now Mason actually pulls to the inside, kind of lifts the pedal a little bit, lets Gavin on by, but I think it did end up costing Gavin a few precious seconds just trying to line up Mason there for the pass, but he is now by, and he can set sail back again to try to reel in Adriano Pinero here now as we're coming to 10 to go.
Pinero once again hammering those curves there. It's a hard balance to play when you do that, and you always run that. It always feels like you're going to be damaging the floor of the race car every time you do so. You can certainly do it, but you got to be very precise with your input to do so. And I got to admit, Pinero has been
car into the wall, into the toe section. Not sure who that was. That was Robert Krug, who was in the wall there in the toe as the leaders were coming by.
Looking at Robert Krug, slows up, gets a wheel in the grass, and just
it doesn't take much.
It certainly doesn't.
The adhesion factor of the grass here is pretty low.
That's certainly true. As many that say that the grass here in iRacing is the equivalent of the floor is lava. You gotta stay off of it. Even the slightest touch will cause a loss of grip in these tires. It certainly makes that section there a minefield. You gotta be very careful with your wheel placement, and that unfortunately is the end result if you're not careful.
Showing now 11 cars left on the lead lap. Your last car on the lead lap is Joseph Selby in P11, who is just a little bit up the road from where our leader is right now, Pinero. As you saw, these guys are about 6 seconds slower than the IndyCar track record here. The IR18 versus the Aero Kit DW12. Keep in mind, though, when we say IR18, we do realize that that's the DW12. These are DW12 tubs. Just has the IR18 Aero Kit on it.
Very true here, and they may certainly be slower here. They don't quite have the development work that goes into them that the real-life IndyCar teams are able to do, and of course, fixed setups in any case means that everyone's running the same equipment, and it doesn't mean that they're going to be running fast setups. Ooh. It just means that they're going to be running setups that are made to encourage a particular kind of racing and hopefully close competition, ease of access here. Because even though these are the best of the best here, of course, anyone with a C-class license and the right track and, of course, the car itself can race here in this series. And the idea is for it to be accessible to get the IndyCar experience, but at the same time, to make that IndyCar experience accessible to all here. And that means not messing around with setups too much.
That's right. The guys that do the open setup cars and open setup races, that's what they do. They sit there for weeks and weeks and weeks and work on certain setups and maybe just one little tweak here and there, and then they'll run them for hours and maybe make another tweak after that. Maybe run them through Motec and some of the other tools that are out there, but they'll spend hours upon hours tinkering with that car here. A little bit more the pedestrian, so to speak. Hop in the car and everybody races what they came here with, which is the same setup in the fixed setup series.
Very true, and of course, those guys that are running the open setup series, I mean, hats off to that level of dedication. They and I'd imagine still though that a lot of them would they turn a few laps and they're able to get a gist of what one particular adjustment will do, but that's all they do. They do one adjustment, see how it is different, and they log it down in their little notebooks, as it were, and they log it down in the telemetry. They see what it feels like, what kind of advantage or disadvantage it gives me, and then they move on to the next little adjustment that they make. So these guys don't quite have those calculations running through their mind here. The only things that they are adjusting here on the road courses anyway are the anti-roll bars, the front and rear anti-roll bars. There are 6 settings on each of them to stiffen or soften it, depending on the circumstances that you want the car that the car is driving in. What you want to. Oh, Sanders is off. Sanders actually just hit the wall coming out of the bus stop. Gavin Sanders, he's gathered it up.
Yeah, he is back underway. Let's take a look at that real quick as find out what happened there. As he's trying to run down the leader, he got wide. Let's watch coming over those, hitting those bumps. Oh, that got loose on the backside. Okay, so let's watch. Let's as he's coming, hitting that third set of. There he is, loose off the third set before hitting that fourth set and into the wall. He's got a bent wing. At this point, he might just want to try to nurse it home.
That's certainly what I would be trying to do here. Sanders is very definitely lost time, but he is still keeping the car turning laps here. And with and working lap number 23 right now, working on 7 laps to go here, he's just going to be wanting to run whatever kind of lap time he can run, make sure he doesn't make a grievous error, and he'll come home in second ahead of Dakota DeMay, who
Good
is
battle.
30 seconds behind him right now.
Yeah, but a good battle between him and Yamasaki for P4. These guys really haven't got too far from each other since their pit stop. We're coming out of 6 to go for these guys. So we're going to come down to a pretty tight point race here at the end. We showed you the points coming in. There's only a very, very scant 9-point difference, 6-point difference between Chris Wilhite and Pinero. Not quite sure what the strength of field is for this race, but it would have to be a pretty high strength of field in order for Pinero to get the necessary points. But we will see how this shakes out, because Pinero is doing everything he can do in order to bring this championship home. So IndyCar has a pretty decent history of
Pinero's in trouble. What happened to Pinero? Why is he slowing down? He stopped coming off the heel of the boot. Something must have gone wrong for Pinero. The dominant car of the day is just coasting in the gravel trap. He's brought it to a stop. What has happened to Adriano Pinero? And that gives the lead to the damaged car of Gavin Sanders.
Now let's take a look here. Let's get on the roll bar, see what happens. Did we have a VR moment? Oh, I think we had something happened where he could not shift. Now these cars do not have random equipment failures as like the old IndyCar Racing 2 game did, but he came off of the toe and was looking to shift. Yeah, and he's trying to shift again here, and we're just listening to him trying to shift. Something happened with his home setup that has allowed him to not be able to shift, and this might have just sealed it. Oh, and we got a pass for P2 as Yamasaki now is ahead of Dakota DeMade now for P2. Actually, no, interesting. They're showing Dakota ahead of him. Not sure why that's showing it that way. But let's get back up to Gavin Sanders. Gavin's driving a wounded car now with 6 to go. He's got a 25-second lead over DeMade and Yamasaki, although DeMade is showing as P2 for some reason. My timing and scoring shows DeMade in P3.
I will admit,
that's why we weren't in live TV. Now we're back to live TV here. So now we're 5 to go. Yamasaki does have the pass over DeMade, so Yamasaki is now in P2. DeMade now P3, and Gavin Sanders 25 seconds out in front, all by himself on the racetrack, as you see on the track map there, as he's hitting the inner loop. The next closest car to him is turn 4, and the next closest car in front of him is between turns 8 and 7. So he has quite a clear racetrack. He's not going to be bothered by dirty air with those bad wings on the front of his car, but it is just a weird last couple of laps.
Very weird indeed. And speaking of the weird bits, I was going to say that what was strange about Pinero pulling off where he was that looking at when he started to slow down, his revs were nowhere near the point where you would shift up into the next gear. So it would say to me perhaps that maybe something went wrong with his VR set. But either way, that may well be what we in the sim racing world call a mechanical. Not so much mechanical with the car, so to speak, but a mechanical with your equipment, your wheel, your headset,
that's
shifter,
exactly why I just rebuilt my system. So, but anyways, as in the history of IndyCar, a number of close races have come down to the final race. A number of close point races have come down to the final race. Actually, quite a few. We've got a couple here that I've highlighted. 83, you have Unser Sr. beating Teo Fabi by 5 points. Now, of course, that's Teo Fabi's rookie year that year after he came out of Formula One. And also third place that year, only 18 points out with Mario Andretti. But that was the first of the closest of the kart finish. Then followed up by 85. which is the father-son shootout in Miami on the road course in Tamiami Park. That's where Al Unser Sr. bested Al Unser Jr. by one solitary point to take the national championship that year in '85. Also that year, Unser Sr. was racing for an injured Rick Mears, so that was able to parlay Unser into a race or into a seat for '86 that he didn't do so hot in, and then they ended up losing his seat in '86 for '87, but then ended up getting it back, and that's of course how he got his fourth IndyCar or Indy 500 win in '87. The '86 championship pretty close too. Michael Andretti in his one of his first championship runs that he did, only 8 points to Bobby Rahal. Bobby Rahal survived a number of close races again against Michael Andretti again in '92. Then the two-way battle between Mansell and Fittipaldi in '93. The very weird initial Indy Racing League Championship tie between Buzz Calkins and Scott Sharp in that three-race season, which was weird. Then the follow-up season where Tony Stewart got his first IndyCar championship, beating Davey Hamilton by 6. Then probably one of the best points battles outside of the Unser duo was the '99 battle between Montoya and Franchitti. That went down the tiebreakers, and unfortunately, that was also determined at the final race. That was in the shadow of Greg Moore's death there at the final race in Fontana that season. But Hornish by 2 points, also in a tiebreaker over Weldon and Castro Neves in 2006. Franchitti again, 5 points over Power in 2010. Hunter Ray, 3 points over Power in 2012. Power, you're going to hear a lot of Power. Power probably should have about 7 IndyCar championships to his name by this point. Dixon and Montoya tie, but Dixon had that great last race at Sonoma. He won the 2015 championship. So those are the closest IndyCar point championships in modern history that are less than 10 points that we just read off right there. So if you ever want to go back on YouTube and check them out because they're all there to witness and see. I was watching the Tamiami Park between Al Unser Jr. and Al Unser Sr. and some of the names in that lineup just guys you'll never expect to see in an IndyCar. They're in it, and the guys that you never expect to see in an IndyCar ever again, they're in that one. So check that out. They're all on YouTube. 3 laps to go. Gavin Sanders, 19-second lead over Yamasaki, 20-second lead over DeMade as he's trying to bring this home now. 2 laps to go.
Sanders, of course, with a big cushion there. Makoto Yamasaki driving that car as hard as he possibly can to try and make up the gap there. But I'm sure he knows that while he certainly has a lot of pace right now, Sanders with a 31.6 on that last lap, Yamasaki with a 29.6, so 2 seconds up on him. But it's going to require another mistake from Sanders at this point to convert that into a possible win for that number 5 machine, who has been spectacular all night. He's been been in a great battle with Dakota DeMay throughout much of this race. But unless Sanders, something goes horribly wrong on his end, but this race has certainly thrown us a few curveballs already. So
to say the least,
you never count anything out.
To say the least, we got currently 10 cars now on the lead lap. Jeff Please is the last car to lead lap there, and P10. We'll get him on the camera there. There he is, right there, going into turn 1 as he's just now took his 2 laps to go. We currently have 13 cars on the track. Mason Young is the last car currently on the track. 3 laps down at the moment. Probably will make up a position here before the before the final lap here on Caden Drake. But we're got some pretty good attrition in this race.
Certainly so. And Watkins Glen, while it's a track that everyone likes, it's very easy to make moves here. It's very easy to make mistakes here. So it's very easy to see either really good races or really high attrition races as Sanders working on his last lap here. And we've definitely seen the latter of that tonight. Everyone has been scrambling to get whatever positions they could in whatever battles they were fighting in. And it's led to a few errors, and it's led to a lot of cars a lap down, and as you said, only 10 on the lead lap, and only 14 of them out of 23 starters that are on the racetrack at all. But meanwhile, Gavin Sanders into the toe of the boot for the last time. I'm sure he didn't expect to be
No.
didn't expect this situation when he started this race at all, to be not only leading it, but doing so with a damaged race car. He's had to limp this car around for the better part of the latter half of this race. But he's been keeping it smooth and consistent. He's realized the limits of what he's had to deal with, and Sanders will be rewarded for this through turn 10 for the final time. Off the final corner, and it will be Gavin Sanders with the win at Watkins Glen in the most unlikely of circumstances as he would have thought of.
That's for sure. We'll follow Yamasaki home here as he's coming through the final corner. Great P2 for him in that Will Power looking livery from this weekend. And right behind him, Dakota the Maid there. So a double podium for the race first teammates there in the Formula Indy Series. Edu Vila coming across there, and also another older Team Penske livery for P4. Chris Robinson, great finish for him in P5, excuse me. Here comes P6. Dale Weiser working his way through. Dale was your big gainer, 14 spots. Goes from where he started up to 6. So a great run for him. Christopher Hamelink coming on by for a finished in 7th.
Oh.
Here's Greenlee and Selby.
Selby.
There's a good battle.
Hold them up after hitting the wall.
Jeff Please.
Really breathing a sigh of relief there as he crosses the line in P8.
Jeff Please making it to P10. And Aaron Allen looking to wrap it up here, as it looks like he is the last car on the track. And I don't think he's taking a flag, so he's going to be bringing it home. And then we will get to final standings and interviews here. Coming around the last couple of corners here, 10 and 11. Making that turn onto the main straight, and he's going right to the pit. So apparently he must have taken the checkered flag already. So that is going to round it out for today's race here, and a bit of a just a strange one, really, just a strange one. Let's see if we can get today's final results here up on the screen. There you go. Gavin Sanders, P1, his first fixed IndyCar Series victory this season. Makoto Yamasaki, his first IndyCar, or at least broadcasted fixed top split podium this season. Dakota the Maid, this might be his. I know he's had a couple top fives. This might be either ties his best finish in the series of the season, or it might be his best finish. Edu Vila, P4, and we'll probably hear more after the fact from what happened between him and Geisler a little bit later, probably between me and Geisler there at P4. Chris Robinson, P5, Weiser, P6, Hamelink, 7th, Greenlee, 8th, Selby, 9th, and Please in 10th. Your top 15, Allen, McIntosh, Young, Drake, and Adriano Pinero dominated everything there was to dominate about this race. Finishes 15th. We'll take a peek at the points. They do update pretty much instantaneously, and we'll see if there's any real difference. Maybe Will Height has to take a start. Maybe he won't. I don't. Right now, he was telling me he probably thinks he doesn't have to make a start at this point. So we will look here at the next page. Krug, Hook, Storch, Geisler there in 18th, and Eckert. And then rounding out the remainder of the fields, Brybent, Molitor, and Piercy round out your field here in the 23-car field here on Monday night. Indy fixed from the new scan of Watkins Glen. Let's get into, and let's also get that track map off there. That's covering the standings. Let's take a look and see who is in the interview, and I'm sure we will have Gavin this time. Gavin was wanting an interview earlier today, so we'll bring him in regardless. Actually, you know what? Let's take Dakota here. Dakota finishing 3rd. Bring him on up. Hey, Dakota, you've earned an interview this time, P3. Tell us about your race. You were in a big battle there with Yamasaki. Tell us about that, and then how bad was the fall off on these tires?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Makoto there was just a little bit faster than I was in the end on the long run pace. So credit to him. He earned second. Um, it was a good battle throughout the whole race. Trying to get past those cars on red tires that were degrading. So um, tire fall off. I didn't think it was too bad, but it gets a little loose on the black tires. I didn't opt to go for the reds because I knew how bad they would be, and I think most of the guys that start on reds ended up crashing out. So, yeah, good strategy, had a good starting position, and just try to do a smooth sail to a podium.
Yeah, kind of a wacky race out there. Saw all sorts of things have impacted not only teammates of yours but other drivers out there. Um, this is this is how many podiums this season is this? This is not your
First
best.
one.
Is this first one? Okay, I was
the
wondering
first
about
one
this. So
this
this is the
season.
first one this season. So best finish this season to a self-proclaimed kind of oval guy to get your best finish on the road course says maybe you missed your calling.
I still didn't have nearly the pace that Gavin and Pinheiro had, and I'm not sure what happened. I mean, none of us are sure what happened to Pinheiro. He just kind of disappeared there. But yeah, no, I'm super happy to get third on a road course.
Shout outs.
Yeah, you can check out Sunset Arctic Games. I got 2 products on Steam, one coming soon. You can check out Voltic Pistol on Steam. Echo Blade is coming out soon. And if you need any iRacing paints or league graphics, you can reach out to me. I'm Sunset Arctic Graphics. You can follow me on Twitter at sunarc_graphics.
All right, and got a couple weeks off, and we were talking before that we're not going to see you in all the races next season, but we'll see you in a select few, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Just trying to get everything planned together for a big release of Echo Blade and
Gotcha.
time and whatnot. And yep,
All
so
right.
we'll see.
We will see you in those selected few, but congratulations on the first podium, best finished this season here at Watkin, Glen. We'll check you out in a little bit.
Yep, thank you.
Bye. All right, we'll bring up Gavin here. Wow, a little bit of everything there. Go ahead and just the elephant in the room. What happened at the bus stop?
I was trying too hard. All around. Definitely was just trying too hard. No, it was a fun race up till then, and then kind of damaged myself just a little bit. But it clearly wasn't too bad, and thankfully I tried hard enough on the prior laps to generate a large enough gap, so when whatever happened to the leader happened, I was able to maintain that. But yeah, no, definitely just trying too hard on, and had the bars pretty aggressive, and yeah, no fun there.
Normally, when people bite it out of the bus stop there, it's pretty much nose into the barrier first, and you were pretty lucky to hit it pretty square on the side. How close was that from not being square?
Yeah, no, I think the angle of attack I was trying to take into the bus stop on each lap was a lot different to what I'm kind of normally trying to achieve through that corner. Definitely more over to the right through the first curb, and then try to attack the second two. So when I lost it there, it was just kind of a bit of a lateral slide, and then thankfully it wasn't as if I was turning super hard to correct a mistake, or because I ran wide through the middle part of the corner. I was kind of on the line already. It's just the car slipped out from underneath me. So yeah, no nose first through the guardrail situation. But still no fun.
The pit stop there looked like when you made your turn on the pit road, you made up quite a bit of ground on Pinheiro just by hustling it to the line and then slowing down at the last minute. But it looked like he got the drop on you out. Did you have a slow pit stop, or he just had a better stop than you? Period.
I think he had a better stop than me. Period. I think I was a little bit overfueled. Definitely kind of missed my mark by just a tiny bit, but I guess he got it pretty freaking perfect.
Steven, you got anything?
So the big question mark I had here was, well, of course, after the incident in the bus stop, the car was certainly not feeling great. You were certainly thinking that you were just going to settle for second, I would wager. And then you saw what happened to Pinero. What was going through your mind when you saw that you were in P1?
Definitely confusion because I don't know exactly. Did he blow a motor? Or did
It
something
looked to
happen?
me, I had a look and it looked like something went wrong with his equipment. It, it looked to me like he just slowed down in the middle of the backstretch. He may have had issues. If he has a VR set, it may have been that.
Yeah, no, it looked very, very weird for sure. So I was just kind of confused because it seemed like he had some sort of issue at earlier in the race as well, where he kind of lost a second in a bit, and then
Yeah, we noticed that.
he
Yeah.
finally got going again. So I was kind of confused, and then once I realized that he was not moving again, I was like, "Oh my God! I just destroyed the wall, and I'm gonna limp this thing home with half a tire on and a bent front wing and win."
Definitely not the way you expected to win a race here at Watkins Glen, huh?
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely pretty unusual compared to what I'm used to.
How much did that the race here a couple weeks ago in the RL help out?
Definitely a little bit, just kind of rolling off, knowing what settings to run and everything.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure the track temp was hotter for that race. So the tire temp or the tire temps as well as the overall wear was a little bit easier than I was expecting. Which is definitely a good thing in the long run, but yeah, it was a benefactor of that race for sure. Just getting to know the setup. It's not one of my favorite setups though, so
Right.
yeah, happily put this one out of my mind.
Having tried the setup before the race, I will have to concur with you.
Yeah, definitely far from my favorite.
Well, congratulations, and we'll probably see you some next season, but we'll definitely be checking you later. So Gavin Sanders, P1. So go ahead and shout them out while you got the mic here.
Oh my gosh, Team Racers, Sunset Arctic Graphics.
Why don't you just get a piece of paper and let's just have
I really should just tape it to the spoon. Yeah. Fat Bastard Burrito. Braid Motorsports, Alpine Stars, Stilo, and we have Fiber Data Exchange and Midwest Data Solutions.
There we go.
Yeah.
You heard them all here first. Well, congratulations, Gavin. We'll check you out here in a couple days, I'm sure. But thanks for showing up, and congrats on the night's win.
Thanks. Take care, guys.
Well, that does it for a now season 2 or season 1 of 2022 fixed IndyCar schedule. Steven, thoughts on tonight and thoughts on the season? And while you're talking about that, I would like to take a look and see where we are in the points. So you take it away.
Well, what a way to go out for this season, I would say. Watkins Glen is always a fun road course. There's a reason why it's immensely popular, and it put on a spectacular show, and it was perhaps more spectacular than we were expecting in many ways, and it gave us a unexpected, and the result of it all was rather unexpected, and frankly, that goes to show how things can change in IndyCar and how on the edge everybody is here. And frankly, it was a spectacular end to a spectacular season as well. This whole season has been one of close battles, heartbreak, drama, and triumph at the end of the day for some, tragedy for others. And this season has been no different, and this race was certainly no different. In many ways, I think it shows that, this was kind of an interesting capstone to the season. And that says to me that, as we'll expect after week 13 next week, we're gonna be back at it. And I think we're gonna have more fun than we had before.
Well, I do see that Pinero did not gain any, but did not lose any, showing him with the 9 counted weeks. He, I believe everybody, if I want to pull up let's go ahead and close the the results here and look at the standings just prior to the race. See if there was any difference there real quick. Boom, there it is. So Pinero has the 9 counted weeks, and so the points have been updated as far as the system. So Pinero did not gain any here. Now they have, I believe you have a couple chances during the week, and it takes the best out of 4. Is that what it does? That he can run and try to improve upon that. But the biggest thing in order to gain the most points is that you need to finish and win the big strength of field races, and another strength of field race later in the week that's possibly any bigger than what we had tonight is questionable. There might be one on Friday when a lot of the European drivers try to do a strength of field race. Normally, if they do kick that off, that's going to be as close as he's going to get. You might see him in that. But right now, at the moment, as we're getting ready to sign off here on the broadcast, Chris Wilhite is now, I guess we want to call him the provisional champion, since basically the week has started and he's now the leader still.
That certainly would seem to be the case. Of course, nothing is entirely settled yet. Pinero does still have a shot at this, as you say, but right now is looking really good for Chris Wilhite. And we'll have to say this officially, but congrats so far to both of these drivers, regardless of who wins the title. Congrats to Wilhite, congrats to Pinero. It has been a great championship battle for a great season, I'd say. Yeah.
Well, let's give everyone back the rest of their Monday night, and we'll get on out of here. This was a an interesting race to say the least. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the good things you normally do when you watch YouTube videos when you like them. But let's get on out of here. Things will load. There we go. Well, that's going to do it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Watkins Glen is Gavin Sanders' first win of the season. Makoto Yamasaki for his first podium here on the broadcast, and Dakota DeMaid with his first podium of the season. So a lot of firsts to round out the final race of the season. Join Racers again in 2 weeks for round 1 of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split of Season 2 2022 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's 2 weeks from tonight, March 14th at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. That is 8:15 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you commercial-free coverage of the last 2 fixed Indy seasons. Tonight, well, the last couple nights, we've started our campaign to fund Season 2, and if you share our passion of the sport of IndyCar and have enjoyed our coverage of the Monday Night Top Split, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate out of to our Season 2 2022 Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split broadcast fund. We do realize times are tough, and any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Monday evening each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm is never easy game, so please support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below, let us know what you thought of tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you are new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more Race Versus iRacing programming, including our exclusive Tuesday coverage of the Midwest Kidney Warriors Formula Indy Series. For business inquiries and to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow me, Gary Gotso, on Twitter at Gary Gotso. So, for Stephen Larkamp and everyone else at Race First, I'm Gary Gotso saying all good night. Thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women in the military serving and also as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Thanks again. Catch us again in 2 weeks for the next race of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split. Good night.